Unmuted.
Yes, folks, it appears after that long applause, but we got everything started, correct sequence. It's Thursday, it's 4 p.m. Central. I'm Fred McMurray, which means this must be.
Pillars, pillars, pillars of franchising. Pillars, pillars of franchising.
I don't know. I'm not hearing music, are you?
Yes, there's music.
Okay, so then it's only me. So, I just love when technology kind of fails us because I heard no music whatsoever there. So, it's going to be one of those days. But
Don't worry.
according to all the other monitors I see, we're actually broadcasting and doing well. So I'm with my co-host Ray Pillar and Elizabeth Denham. First, before we say anything, as I told Ray just a minute ago, congratulations on his now very public nuptials or to-be nuptials. Rocking away,
Yeah.
Ray.
Yep,
Yep, very exciting. Very, very exciting.
it is. It is, especially at this stage of life.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying now instead of saying I'm old.
You're in the next stage of life.
Yeah.
That's all it is. Yeah.
You're
And
in that.
you need a good person to manage that for you.
Well, no, we talk about the pillars of franchising, and it's the goal of the pillars of franchising is to transfer the opportunity, and that's what we're getting a case study with on Ray as we go.
That's right.
How's that one for you?
There you go. You can check it off the success box on Pillars.
Yeah. All right. So, I'm obviously, as you can tell by my background, it's Ray weather today in Pismo. We're in the June gloom, but the ocean's still wonderful. So where's Ray? Where's Elizabeth?
Well, Ray is at home and in Aurora. It is 86.7 degrees, sunny, with a nice breeze. It's a comfortable day, a little warm, maybe, but not too bad. Elizabeth?
I'm here in sunny Alabama. It's about 88 degrees. Humidity is 65%, which is 30% lower than yesterday,
Yeah.
which is nice. It makes it a little more bearable. We had storms all day yesterday, and then when they stopped, it was still hot with 96% humidity and no rain. So it's been a little muggy, but it's a really pretty day today. So happy about it.
Yeah. It's a good day to be alive.
It is. I even like the storms.
Yeah. I love rain. I do.
Yeah. Especially on a weekend when you can curl up and read a book and hear the rain outside. It's nice.
Yeah.
I'll
I
tell
go out on
you.
my deck, rains, and just take in the smell of the fresh rain. It's
Yeah.
a wonderful thing.
I'll tell you
So who's our guest today, Elizabeth?
one thing.
I think one thing Fred had.
One thing. Every day is a good day to be alive.
Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Now you can take us to our guest.
Okay, you going to bring her in, Fred?
I'll bring her in, Elizabeth.
All right. So today we have Renee Israel. She is the Chief Franchise Officer for Modern Restaurant Concepts, a national multi-brand restaurant platform focused on better for you concepts. Currently, that portfolio includes two health-forward, fast casual brands, Modern Market Eatery and Lemonade Seasonal Cafeteria. Renee is also co-founder and former chief marketing officer of Doc Popcorn, the world's largest franchised retailer of popcorn. And she co-led the sale of that brand to Dippin' Dots, the frozen beaded ice cream brand in 2014. So we are excited to have you here. Welcome to the show, Renee. How
Welcome.
are you? Oh, you need to unmute yourself.
Are you able to see me now? I think like as soon as you were starting to introduce me, it just went dark.
Yeah, but we can see you now and we can hear you, so you are all good.
Awesome.
How are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Great. We are excited to have you here and learn all about your new brands coming out. I know you probably had some bumps in the road with the pandemic happening, but tell us a little bit about the Modern Market Eatery to start. I forgot. Sorry.
Yep.
Ray, go ahead.
Where are you and how's the weather? I mean, this is just our thing, what we do on the show. We just want to know where our guests are.
Absolutely. I am in Boulder, Colorado. The weather is generally warm and sunny. Today, it looks like Armageddon's happening. You know, you can always see over the mountains. You just never know. In Colorado, we always say, if you don't like the weather, just wait 5 minutes.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah, we're like that down here a little bit too. So anyway, now on to the Modern Market. Tell us a little bit about what you got going on now.
Yeah.
We're ready now. So, first, I think it's important to establish Modern Market because Modern Market isn't really known so much in the franchising space, but it's been around for about a decade. And founders, Anthony Piliancampo and Rob McCullen came together because they were both Uber athletes. And, this is about, 12 years ago where, you're trying, frustratingly when you're traveling, trying to find somewhere healthy to eat that isn't fancy fine food, but not your your typical QSR. And so, they kind of resolved to go out and solve that problem for themselves and then hopefully for others. And so the first location opened in Boulder, Colorado, about 12 years ago, and since then it has grown to nearly 30 locations in several states, and our strongholds are in Colorado, Arizona, and in Texas. And it's just an amazing offering. We are all about helping our guests eat well and be happy.
So tell us a little bit about the menu and the style of restaurants.
Well, what I love about the menu is, first of all, it's nourishing and delicious. And so scratch made food built on the idea of the creativity of scratch cooking techniques used in fine dining, but can get out at QSR speed. So we typically can get most of our orders out in 6 to 7 minutes. And so not only is it nutritious and delicious, but and scratch made, but we can get it rather quickly and see, this is what I was talking about.
Hello. Yeah.
Hi.
How are you?
Where's Dad?
I'm not sure, sweetie, but I'm in the middle of a broadcast, but I love you. It never fails.
Oh, that's so funny, but it's sweet. This is what we're all living through right now.
I definitely got a little distracted there at the end. So the idea that, that the premise was built on the idea that the cooking techniques of scratch made food could be systematized and then offered to a franchise. And so they worked for 12 years to make that happen. And we are in a place where we literally, as we talked about, had just gotten our franchise documents ready, and then COVID. And what I'm proud to say is that first of all, the team is amazing, and you can do a lot of things in crises, right? And leaders rise in a time of crises. And I really feel like the entire leadership team, it was in action, from day one, ahead of the curve, learning and figuring out, how are we going to still serve our guests? We're an essential business and our guests need us. So how are we going to keep serving guests? And so even though we do have dine-in, and that's a big part of our business, fortunately, the organization has also leaned very heavily into technology long before COVID. And we had just launched an amazing website just prior. So to the point when you're talking about the menu, we have salads, bowls, carved dishes, pizza. We really run the gamut. I like, we like to say that we're like an elevated version of Panera for today. And so anyone can come in and pretty much customize whatever they want. So we're super dietary friendly. And what's amazing, if you go to our website, and I encourage you to take a look, because it's not a white label website. It has been built from the ground up in a way where, although we have names of dishes, like the wintergreen salad has dates and goat cheese and delicious lettuces, and you can go on there and you can pick wintergreen salad, but if I don't want goat cheese and I want a different kind of cheese, I can swap it out. If I want more than what's on the salad, I can swap it in. And so it's almost like every single dish is customizable to pretty much whatever you need, and what you're in the mood for, and what your dietary restrictions or wants and desires are looking for.
I think that's important in this day and age. A lot of people are missing that. I know that for a while, some of the fast food restaurants were trying that, but it seems to me that they've eliminated. Of course, I don't eat in a fast food restaurant much anymore. It's just too much. But that's definitely a way to go, I think.
Yeah, and I think, and if you think about, in terms of offering this as a franchise, there are a lot of multi-unit franchise operators that are looking to diversify their portfolio. They might have a QSR or something in a different segment. And, I really think that, more and more, just personally, we're all leaning into more healthy and immune building options. And hence, I think that there are a lot of folks looking for a concept like this, but not just anybody can run a concept like this. So we really look for people who are already operating a restaurant type model, franchise model in the food space, and but the processes make it so that a QSR franchisee could also run a fast casual like Modern Market. It is probably one of the more simple fast casual to run because of the systemization that has happened in the back of the house.
So I find it exciting. I mean, I wish y'all were over this way more, because the place.
Well, we hope to be.
I know. Well, hopefully this pandemic will get the heck out of here. But the places that are trying to go more healthful and mindful of the nutritional things here seem to be doing well. In a coastal city, you get a lot of beach goers and a lot of active people. So what do you do in terms of training? Because it would seem to me that you're going to have a staff, not just the owner, but everybody. Do they all know, like if I say I'm on a keto diet or I'm on the, Atkins or low carb or whatever, they're going to have to help guide people through what offerings you have or how to customize it or that kind of thing. So I'm thinking there's some training going on for that, right?
Absolutely. And, I have to say, one of the first thing I did was, okay, like, I want to roll up my sleeves, like get me in a location. I want to experience like every station, everything that happens. And, because I was thinking like, wow, like, knowing how delicious the food is and how the scratch made processes, I wanted to see like how, can we hand over the keys to have somebody run this? And I was amazed. It's just such a well-run line, and because it's not Chipotle, we're not scooping things out and just giving it to people on a plate. Like, we're actually making the dishes. And so what I'll say is that the way that we have everything running is just so smooth, and people are cross-trained in stations. But in terms of the recipes and the information about the ingredients and the allergens, I mean, everything is organized and available in a technological format and also in books. So if somebody wants to just pull something up really quick on a screen, they can do it. Most people are trained over time, and they'll learn a station, and then they know that really well, and they might be cross-trained on another station. And so you have a great team of people who can work, almost anywhere in the restaurant, and be leveraged for a lot of different spots.
Right.
Yeah. But I think, we also, because of our culture, I would feel like a lot of the people who work with us also know that, they all have their own dietary needs and wants. Really respect the values and the fact that we are really caring about the quality that we put out of our food. I mean, it really is about the food, and everyone there and everyone on our team really takes an amazing cue, to know the ingredients and know the menus. And we have delicious, we have sustainable program for salmon, and we have pulled pork, and we have chicken, and we just have an amazing supply chain that delivers on a protein program that I think is unlike almost anything out there today. And grass-fed.
I love that. I think it's so needed too, because my mother in her older, she never had food allergies growing up. And as she's gotten into her 70s, she's developed all of these allergies. And you go to some places and they're not conscious of that. Do you cross-contaminate? Do you cook shrimp near chicken? Do you have red dye? Do you have, I think that education is becoming more and more needed and more valued by people children are having more food allergies. People are they're sticking stronger to stronger diets. I don't want any sugar. I don't want any whatever. So I think it's really exciting. Yeah. That's one of the values, is that education level.
Yeah. We have locations and team members that are certified specifically for training others. And so we take that very seriously. I think it's also important to note that we have 3 day parts as well. So our breakfast is, again, just really elevated in terms of what we offer. And a couple of those breakfast items are on the all day menu as well. Like we have something called, like the everything avo toast. And it is like my favorite thing. And it has like the smoked salmon is something like I would get back in New York. I really miss good New York, deli salmon. And they, I feel like we really have that in spades.
That's great.
So you mentioned that, I think you said you had 30 locations in Boulder. Is that correct?
No, that would be a lot, because we only have 100,000 people in Boulder. But
yeah,
we have nearly 30 locations. We're actually opening two new locations in the next 30 to 60 days here in Colorado, in Fort Collins and in Colorado Springs. But we have our locations all over Colorado. We also have 3 in Arizona, and then we have about Texas. We also are in the airport here in Denver. We have a couple locations there, and we also have Notre Dame as a university location. So we've tested a variety of different models and spaces and demographics, and so we have a lot of optionality for a franchise owner that's looking for different options.
So are those company stores or are they franchises?
They, as I was explaining earlier, we are all company owned right now. And so I actually came on board just very recently to start the franchise program for Modern Market, because we're now at a point where we are ready to franchise. And it's just really an amazing way for us to grow, and also for us to offer our healthful menu to more people across the country, because we really believe that getting good food to people is really one of our missions, is really about nourishing lives, and that includes communities, it includes our staff, our future franchise owners, and our guests, of course.
So it's a ground floor franchise opportunity then.
It is a ground floor opportunity, absolutely. And
we need to take a quick commercial break, but after that, I want to talk more about that, and I want to talk more about how the pandemic has affected the launch of all of this, because I know you've had some hard decisions to make. But we're going to take a quick commercial break and come right back.
Yeah, we always hope it's going to be a quick commercial break. One never knows. But we want to thank the Link Local Network for broadcasting the show. Remind callers that they can call in at 323-580-5755. That's 323-580-5755. Also, you can chat at the website, and we got people from, several places listening in. So, or you can chat on Facebook or everyone else. Heidi and I got that man, but 323-580-5755. Tuesday mornings, you got want to meet interesting people? Join us for virtual caffeinated connections and meet new and interesting people and drink coffee.
Hey, franchise owners, how's your local marketing? Do you feel like you could use some help keeping up with your social media posts and comments and reviews? Do you wonder if you could be doing more to attract local customers? Are you able to identify new move-ins to your local area? At Westvyne, we help franchisees like you reach more local customers through digital marketing. With daily monitoring, creative content, and ad placement, and customer data intelligence, we'll get your business in front of the people who want your products or services. We also work with franchisors who need an agency to handle the digital marketing for all of their locations. If you're ready to reach more local customers, give us a call at 805-265-5440 or visit us at westvyne.com. That's 805-265-5440 or westvyne with a y.com.
Ever wonder how successful business people get educated about franchise business options? The Franchise Consulting Company is a group of over 100 franchise professionals with more than 2,000 years of franchise experience. We help our clients select and investigate franchise companies. And like a realtor, our services are free of charge to you. Our fees are paid by the seller. Reach out to us to learn more and get a free copy of the Franchise MBA, the #1 bestseller and reviewed book on Amazon in the franchise category. Our website is thefranchiseconsultingcompany.com, or feel free to call us on 800-321-6072.
And want to thank HubSpot for listing us in the top 20 podcasts you must follow in franchising in 2020. Ray, what number is it?
We are number 1.
We're number 1. So, back to our wonderful show.
All right, thank you, Fred. Renee, you and I spoke the other day. We were talking about some hard decisions that you've had to make during the pandemic in terms of when to start rolling out, your franchise sales and making your big push forward. So tell us what's been going on with that.
Oh yeah, not about hard decisions, just being able to think through with the pandemic, just the timing and how you move forward. And what I was starting to say before, and we started out down a different track, was that the company and the team has been so incredibly innovative and adaptable, and I think that that's one of the strengths of the brand, is that the whole team just rallied around making sure that we were in front of both being an essential business to our guests, and also because we leaned so heavily into digital and had an amazing website to service people. I mean, we never did curbside before, but we did have 50% of our orders start digitally already. So I think that if you were a concept or a restaurant that didn't have that technical process in place to do delivery or be able to set up curbside the way that we could so quickly, I think that it's a challenge for a lot of concepts out there. I would say that we are faring as well or better than most because of the digital component that we have. We have an amazing app. We were able to put curbside into play very quickly. We have a supply chain that is better than you'll find at your local supermarket. And particularly in the beginning, it was like people just afraid to go to the grocery store, or things were running out at the grocery store. And very quickly, the team said, let's offer our delicious food from our supply chain. And we started doing grocery boxes very early. And we also offered more, the catering program, which is a very strong component of our business. We were able to translate that into more family style meals. And so So, we fared, very well, but with a lot of, ingenuity, innovation, and grit by really incredible leadership and our team. So, so I'll say, as far as franchising goes, I think the what you think about is, let's focus relentlessly on operations. Let's make sure we're feeling like, everything's moving in momentum in the right direction, from positive from a sales and profitability standpoint, getting all the cleanliness procedures down. We already are, above and beyond in that category, but now, of course, even more so. And, I think now people are really concerned, not just about, how their food tastes, but, there's a lot of, research and studies that have, of course, come out that, the first question now is, how clean is it? And are people wearing gloves? Are they wearing masks? How is my food being prepared? How many people are back there? And, we're super transparent about it all, and have been, really on the forefront of that. And I'll say that, one of the things that I, around the pandemic, that also kind of rose up what kind of a brand Modern Market is Anthony Piliancampo, our founder, said, how can we help other restaurants? And so, a campaign got started. It was very grassroots, and it was called @Save Restaurants. And you may have, there were others about, like the Great American Takeout that people jumped onto, but @Save Restaurants was really about educating the guests that it was safe to go and eat at your local restaurant, that we were here to help. We had a lot of community efforts to offer 50% off to anyone who wanted to come in and purchase meals for frontline workers or any vulnerable communities. And, we just really, when I feel like when there's a crisis, it's like, do you really live your core values? And I feel like for us, it's about, everything from, nourishing bodies, lives, and communities, and delivering radical hospitality from the inside out, which means caring for our people and our guests, and making tomorrow better than today. And so we really just, wanted to be there for the communities that we were serving.
Yeah, I think that's amazing. And I think during the pandemic, you've really seen the cream rise to the top in terms of leadership. You see the people who really do live their core values and taking care of their employees. And I think one of the most valuable things that you mentioned was transparency, and making people feel that they can trust you, that you're going to be honest with how many people are back there, how their food's being prepared, that the safety is there. And when you have a health forward brand, it's not just about the healthy food, it's about the healthy preparation and the healthy supply chain that gets the, the quality food into those places. So I really think that's got to be exciting for you, having come on recently, that it validates that you made a good choice.
Well, it's interesting because, from a story perspective, as I think, I came out of, I came into franchising, not because I was looking to, but because it was by accident, because my husband and I started a business. We started Doc Popcorn, and that was a health forward brand. That was all about finding the best for you snack in a high traffic venue. And when we started doing that business, we realized very quickly that we wanted to get this out to more people. And we love coaching others, and we love coaching entrepreneurs, and offering our concept as a franchise just made so much sense on so many levels, because we really wanted to get our healthy snack out beyond the borders of Colorado. Fast forward, we had sold that business, and I was just doing a lot of consulting for emerging brands. But Anthony and I live in the same town, and I know him, both through business and as an athlete, and as an amazing skier and mountain bike rider, and just living the lifestyle, the clean lifestyle that many of us live here in Boulder. And when he mentioned that he was excited to grow the brand and do it through franchising, I wasn't looking specifically to work for a company again. And I was so excited about what was happening here that I just jumped in and said, you know what, I really want to be part of this because it's really special. And I just really, truly believe in my own core values that we need more healthy food in the world, because if you can have access to delicious, healthy, affordable food, more people will eat it, and then more people will be healthier because of what they put in their body. And I really believe that affects everything, all the way down to the our medical system today, which is based on like a little bit of it's more penalistic. It's like if you get sick, I feel like there's now opportunities for insurance companies to award people that eat at certain restaurants, that go to fitness establishments, that establish a healthy lifestyle that'll help people be in more of a preventative state of mind instead of a reactive state of mind. And Modern Market is part of that lifestyle.
That's definitely, part of the way the restaurant industry is evolving nowadays. My dad was a restaurateur, and things were a lot different in the 50s and 60s. He used to take us out every week to a different restaurant just to see what the menus were like, what the pricing was like. So I know things have really changed, especially from the health standpoint. So if you have not sold the first franchise yet, so what are your plans on and what it's going to cost to get someone involved in your franchise?
Well, it's our franchise offering in terms of the initial investment starts at $755, goes up to about $1.4 million, depending on the model. But our sweet spot is 2,200 to like 2,200 to 2,300 square feet, and we have a $45,000 franchise fee and 5% royalty. So it's I would say somewhat typical of a fast casual franchise, and but in terms of what we offer, in terms of the type of concept that we have, there's a lot of healthy concepts that have sprung up as of late, but none of them are franchised. And that's because it's actually really hard to systematize scratch-made cooking. And Modern Market has done an amazing job of doing that so that they are able to offer it in this way. I mean, you think about, kava and, sweet green or flower child. I mean, those are all admirable concepts, but I'll say that our menu is much more health forward, diversified, and you can't franchise those. So I really feel like Modern Market is one of the only ones out there with this full breadth of offering in the nutritious, healthy space. That's the type of place that almost anyone can go and find something they love. I mean, not to stereotype, but like if dad wants meat and potatoes, we have amazing grass-fed, 100% grass-fed steak and the most delicious mashed potatoes that you can have. My daughter comes in, the mac and cheese is off the hook. So we have those little indulgences, but then for those who are coming in because they have dietary needs or desires, as I had said before, it's a very customizable opportunity with super fresh ingredients. Just think about Modern Market, and how you think about the name. It's like the market, like we're shopping on the perimeter, not in the middle of the store.
Right.
Where all the unhealthy food is.
I think that's very important that you are going to be serving people from both ends of the spectrum as far as healthy food goes, because I'm myself kind of a meat and potatoes type person. And
well, we have something for you, so it's perfect. And it's going to be way better than what you get anyplace else. You'd be so bold.
So shifting directions a little bit, you came up with Duck Popcorn as a founder, and you have shifted into working with another founder on another brand. How do you find that transition? And it's got to be a whole different experience because it's somebody else's baby, just so to speak. So how have you found that experience for you?
Well, it's in all honesty, it's there's some things that are very much the same and some things that feel very different. My husband and I, so my husband's the idea guy. So I call he's the true entrepreneur that just always has like ideas like popping out of his head, all day long. And and I'm I'm entrepreneurial. Like I'm resourceful. I have grit. I don't give up. And I have a lot of skills, right? Like I had the brand, brand and just, business management and what else do I do? I wrote our business plan, but my husband and I have very different skill sets. And so
Right.
I felt like, coming in, I was not the one who came up with the idea for Doc Popcorn, but I'm the one that recognizes amazing ideas and helps people connect the dots to bring their brand aspirations to fruition. And
Right.
I feel like
so you're the executor.
Yeah, I don't know about the executor, but my superpower is being a connector of like, disparate ideas and people and concepts and living the brand aspiration that someone is hoping to achieve. And so I feel like Modern Markets, and I'm also very attracted to Modern Markets brand, so at Doc Popcorn, my role was chief marketing officer. So my whole career was based on marketing and branding. And then I acquired this knowledge and skill set around franchising as a business. And I love my franchise family. I mean, as you know, it's a small industry and we all help each other and just have such a nice, community. And I love this community and I love that I get to do it again. I love that I get to prevent someone from making a lot of the same mistakes that we had made in the past. And I do really enjoy coaching others. And so I feel like this is job is many. It's executing, it's coaching, it's being in an advisory role because I'm bringing a lot of expertise to the situation because I actually lived it myself. And there are days I can just look at Anthony and say, oh gosh, I know exactly what you're thinking. and I just really, but they've what I think is very important to know though, because we're talking about Modern Market as if it's like this baby brand it is a ground floor opportunity, but I just want to stress that it took a dozen years to get to where they are today. They've engineered the systems and the processes and the menu to the degree that is just really ready to share with the world. And people took note of that. And so I think it's the Modern Restaurant Concepts is the holding company that has both Modern Market and also a brand called Lemonade, which is also right now a 28 unit chain out in California that is a like seasonal cafeteria. And so that's more of your scooping in the line kind of concept, but it's all super fresh. Just think about what California seasonal cuisine means to people, and that brand is just very exciting to people out in California, to the degree where I think that once we are very soon ready to offer Lemonade, I think that that's another very grand opportunity for somebody who wants to be in again on a ground floor, but with two seasoned brands that have been around for a long time, with a holding company that are sharing infrastructure and values and leadership. Modern Market bought Lemonade because they want to take the infrastructure and the processes that were built with Modern Market and apply them to Lemonade. And they've been taking the last year and a half, almost 2 years now, doing that. And so it soon too will be another great concept ready to offer to restaurateurs and franchisees that would be interested in that opportunity. So, and it all has the strength and the financial strength of a private equity firm that invested now almost 2 years ago also. And so the trajectory of this brand is it's not kind of just on its own has a couple units and is starting to franchise. It's been a very systematic process to get to where we are, to be ready to go out and do what we're doing.
So in terms of leadership, and you talked about consulting and advisory being part of your roles, what are some things that you wish you had known when you started with dog popcorn in the franchising process? What would you advise some people to avoid pitfalls that you experienced? I'm sure.
Wow. One of I think that the biggest thing that always comes up for me as again, being the chief marketing officer, was that when we had our first franchise agreement, we didn't include a marketing fee for the marketing fund. And the idea initially was, well, we don't really need that. We're in high traffic venues. It's like automatic marketing. It's a captive audience. And we don't need that right now, because we'll just wait till we build the brand a little bit. And then we can, then we can start charging the franchise, the marketing fee. And, as we all know in franchising, those of us who know, going back and doing that, number one, is very difficult to do. Number two, if we had started out that way, we would have been able to spend the efforts to build a fund that could have been used for initiatives that we were like, oh, I wish I had money for that. Oh, well, I would have if I started that marketing fund when we started the business, or the franchising business. So, but I see that all the time still when I talk to folks that are thinking about franchising, or they're at that point and they're already working on their FDD, and it's like, oh, can you look at this for me, just as a favor? And I'm like, sure. And then, it's like, oh, well, why do you have a marketing fee in here? Like, well, we just don't need it right now. And I'm like, well, let me tell you why you need it.
Yeah.
I can tell you why you need that marketing fee. And it's not for any reason. It's not, it's to the benefit of all. It's to the benefit of the franchisees. It's to the benefit of the franchisor. And so, that's a big one. And then I think as a franchisor too, whether you're starting a franchise from scratch because you start as a franchise company, or if you decide after you've proven yourself for a while that you want to grow through franchising, I think it's hard as a leader sometimes to know the right seats on the bus at the right time. And the people that helped you in the very beginning are not always necessarily the people that are going to be with you when you hit unit 25 or unit 100 or 1,000. And it's just very different people that generally run those companies or are running the positions that they're in. And so I would say that there were a lot of really painful decisions around people that we moved to another role, but then that role didn't work either. And eventually, after we moved a couple people around, we just knew that we just didn't have a place for them any longer in the way that they wanted to be part of what we were doing. And so those are just hard decisions. And, I think you try first to look ahead and see where you can move people as you grow and have the boxes that you need to move people into, and start cross-training those skills early so that you can keep people and keep cross-training them and keep moving them forward. Because I think that it's really important as leaders to, find ways to grow people with your company. But sometimes different roles require different sets of skills as you grow. I think in the world there are people who kind of run the store, so to speak. I mean, just kind of running the maintenance of day-to-day efforts, and we want to get 1 or 2 more percent in our sales. And then there are people who are builders, and then there are turnaround people, and there are the entrepreneurs who start it all, and they're not necessarily can all be in all of those boxes.
Yeah, those are some great points. We're going to take another commercial break, and then when we come back, Ray, you can have the next question. We'll be right back.
Okay.
The Franchise Woman is a bi-monthly digital magazine that empowers women as they navigate the franchising industry by providing relevant news, tools, advice, and inspiration. We are a resource for women who are seeking to own their own businesses, improve their existing businesses, find creative solutions, and take advantage of franchise opportunities. We feature women in the business who best exemplify our ideals and have something to teach our readers. In addition to our exclusive articles relating to the female entrepreneur, we also feature brands that are geared for women. Women have become the fastest growing sector in business ownership and have become a powerful, influenceable force fueling the economy. The Franchise Woman will give you the news that is relevant to you to help you navigate the path of successful franchise ownership. By women, for women, and about women. We are the Franchise Woman. Join us today at www.thefranchisewoman.com. Welcome back, Ray. Are you ready with your question?
I am. So we ended the last segment. You talked about the different types of franchise owners that there are out there. So what do you envision the franchise owners? What type of person are you looking for your franchise?
It's really interesting you asked that, because it's been a topic. It's always a topic, I think, and I think it's interesting when franchisors go out and they just start marketing and they don't really know who they're looking for. And as a marketer, that's something that's near and dear to my heart, that we get the right people with the right fit and really exemplifying the culture that we want to bring forward. So what I will say about our brand is that first and foremost, I think that you have to care about the quality of food. I think it's really important that you have a level of detail-oriented ways about you that that you want to have a level of consistency, quality and presentation that goes to the guest. Our food is beautiful. It's very photogenic, and it's also delicious. And so we need people who will nurture that. I think also that that tech forward is important, because we really embrace technology, which I think COVID has shown more than ever how important that is. I think a lot of the brands that might not so unfortunately accelerating the inevitable, that might not be here post-COVID, just did not keep step with whether it's technology or food trends or what the guest of the modern guest is really looking for today. And so somebody who embraces the fact that we are an innovator who wants to serve our guests however they want to be served, and make sure that we're in a position to do that and always be relevant. And then, and most importantly, our franchise owners and partners, they or their designated operating partner would have to have restaurant experience. So this is not an opportunity that is for just the average brand fan that comes in and says, oh, I love Modern Market, I really want to own a franchise. I like, how do I do that? Or somebody who just, wants to write a check because they have the net worth and financial requirements. They really need to, have that level of experience and depth of operating, a multi-unit franchise. Mm-hmm. And, I hope that we maintain that path, because I do think that, as it's really important to pick the right people, and your first 5 to 10 are so important. And, and I think, it's interesting because in the fast casual and the restaurant space, when you're talking about multi-unit franchisees, you're not just talking about, everyone's like, oh, you're marketing to a company. And I'm like, no. It's always still comes down to an individual. It's like, who is the champion of this brand? And so I just really feel that people that will be pioneering, even though it's kind of an oxymoron in franchising, because franchisees follow a system and we want them to follow a system. But, the first 5 to 10 are going to look at the trends, look at what we've built, look at our leadership team and say, I want the ground floor opportunity. I want to be a trailblazer, and I want to have, a wide open space to build a brand in. And so that's also, I think, an interesting point of differentiation when you work with I don't want to say a young brand. It's an experienced brand, but it's a new brand in franchising. And so so that type of person is going to be important as well.
So in the May issue of the Franchise Woman, our next issue is coming out on Wednesday for July. But in the May one, we talked a lot about paying it forward because we try to talk about qualities that envelop all women. So we have picked out quite a few. So I was just curious, in terms of either in your brand or you personally, do you have some things that speak to you in terms of community engagement, paying it forward, mentorship? What kinds of things drive you in that way?
A few things. So, in my community, I'm on the board of an organization called Bridge House, and they address homelessness. But the way they address homelessness is through social enterprise. And so I'm passionate about this notion of, it's not just like fundraising for the sake of fundraising, and yes, we need to feed vulnerable populations, and it's super important. But what they're doing is they actually have a community table kitchen. They have a couple of different brands, a brownie brand, and they do catering, and they do all these different things. And so I get to lend that, like, the food expertise to that organization in their social enterprise. And so, from a passionate pay it forward perspective, I just love helping other entrepreneurs, and selfishly, I like helping women entrepreneurs, but I'm definitely an open-ended. I help, both men and women. I think that just like we as women want to have men supporting women in positions of leadership, I think that it's equally important that women support men to get to their position of leadership or to obtain their goal or build their brand. And so, I definitely, I set aside probably, 2 appointments a week where I take a call that's just, in a lot more during COVID, it seems, but just in general, I have this like number in my head that every week, there's going to be 2 calls that are helping somebody who has a question. And it's generally in franchising. It's generally about, trying to figure out an emerging brand or a leadership issue that somebody's struggling with a team. But I'm pretty passionate about that bucket. And then from a modern market standpoint, which is why I said earlier I jumped in, is because I'm super passionate about health and fitness. And so the fact that I get to every day support a brand that aligns with my own personal core values, I feel like this is also a way that I personally get to pay it forward, but our brand does the same thing. Oftentimes we get like, how do you help your community? And I'm like, well, all the ways that we talked about earlier, where we helped our community by having deep discounted meals for the front lines and for people, vulnerable populations, and whatever we had to put forth. But we also just help communities just by being there, by being an affordable, delicious option for people to have a choice when they're going out to eat.
Yeah. Well, I love that too, because when we talk about in the magazine a lot, when your passion and purpose align, it is a recipe for success. And it sounds like you have found that in the ventures that you have taken on.
And all the people and all of the entire leadership team and many of our team, they all also have that as part of their vernacular and their lifestyle. And I think it makes a huge difference when you have people in positions where they can be passionate about it and believe in it, and not just be going through the motions. Because I think today, even though when you're hiring somebody, the dollars are the dollars, but people want to know that they're making an impact and they're able to make a difference and they're helping make the world a better place. And I feel I get to do that at Modern Market every day. So that's really fortunate for me.
Yeah, that's exciting. Then it's not a job. It's a passion.
It really is a passion.
All right, on that note, I think that's a great note to wrap it up. We're running short on time. Ray, would you like to ask our final question?
I certainly
He
will.
told me he always has hats, and so I brought my Modern Market
Your
hat.
Modern Market hat. You got to wear the brand.
It's a nice hat.
Yeah.
But a final question here is, before we get into, are we going to get into the rabbit hole today?
Yes.
Oh, all right. So
Oh gosh, yeah, rabbit hole. Where are we going today?
before the rabbit hole, we want to let all our viewers know how they can get a hold of you if they're interested in your franchise. It's, I think we've gotten a lot of people excited about it. So tell them how do they get a hold of you?
They can go to modernmarket.com /franchise, and they can find my number there, and they can fill out a form. They can send me an email, whatever makes them feel comfortable. They can find me on LinkedIn as well. So if you just want to find me, that's easy to do at Renee Israel on LinkedIn with Modern Restaurant Concepts.
And of course, this show and all your information is going to be on Pillars of Franchising webpage, so they can look there as well.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right. So Fred, would you like to take us down the rabbit hole?
Of course, I'd like to take us down the rabbit hole. Come, see me. Okay, folks. So, as you may or may not have noted recently, there is legislation pending, I think, in the Senate, directing the Pentagon and Department of Defense to come up with a document of all the unclassified information that they can on UFOs, prompted in part by the recent public acknowledgement of the Navy of multiple UFO encounter footage. So, how will, in the coming either alien invasion or alien vacationers, depending on your viewpoint, how will Modern Market Eatery determine the healthiest menus for the aliens, especially given that there could be multiple alien races?
Okay, I still have an answer for that one. We have an ingredient. Every ingredient matters, and that includes our staff and our team and our franchisees, and it also includes aliens. And so we have an ingredient and a dish and a bowl and a pizza and a salad and a sandwich. We have pretty much anything that any little alien would want. In fact, I will personally deliver it to Devil's Tower in Wyoming, where I just spent 2 weeks with my family in an RV, which is a whole other rabbit hole we could all go down.
Me.
Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Doo-doo-doo-doo. What was that?
That's a different show that's being developed, but we won't talk about that now.
That was good.
Yeah, that was good. Very good.
So, want to thank our guest, Renee Israel, my co-host, Ray Pillar, and Elizabeth Denham. This has been another, as usual, strange, weird, educational, and entertaining episode of
Pillars of Franchising. Pillars of Franchising.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.